What's going on, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the Mara Mentality Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle, and on this podcast, we talk about mindset talks for men chasing greatness, discipline, growth, and an all-around better version of themselves. This is a very special episode. I have my first guest on. He's an author, published over 40 plus books. He's a best-selling, award-winning author of the Dissonance, Talisman, and the Sagas, all SyFys. He's also a speaker, actor, and a blogger. He's been a voice actor for a number of Fortune 500 companies, such as United Healthcare, Amazon, Uber, Wrangler, Cadillac, Microsoft, Enterprise, Fidelity, and more. He's an admin for over 60,000 writers throughout 3 Facebook groups and has over 4,000 subs on his blog. What we're going to be jumping into in this episode is how he balances multiple crafts, how he's stayed grounded through that as well as his upbringing, and then what his version of creative discipline is. Can't wait for you guys to meet Aaron. This was a phenomenal talk, and without further ado, welcome to the episode, and welcome to Aaron Ryan. Is a best-selling, award-winning author of the. I hope I say this right. I apologize if I don't. But the Dissonance, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, the Dissonance, Talisman, and the Sagas. He is also a speaker, voice actor, and blogger. He's published over 40 plus books. He's been a voice actor for a number of Fortune 500 companies such as United Healthcare, Amazon, Uber, Wrangler, Cadillac, Microsoft, Enterprise, Fidelity, and more. He's an admin for over 60,000 writers throughout 3 Facebook groups and has over 4,000 subs on his blog. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce Aaron, author and creative genius. So again, welcome, my friend, and thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for having me. What an intro. Can you do all my intros from here on out? That was great.
Yeah, man, wanted to hype you up. Absolutely. You deserve it, though. I mean, I was actually, right before this, I was looking at your author lessons from 40 books in 20 minutes. So I learned a lot about you, at least from that video. I learned more. And yeah, it was just great. You seemed to have a great personality. And I also just wanted to say, too, that I graduated from Full Sail University with a degree in film. So you just, like, your personality and everything just reminds me a lot about the just the community that's there. So it was really cool to just like have like that vibe basically is what I'm getting at. So awesome.
Oh, well, cool. Well, thank you. Yeah, you definitely have to do that. I would label it under image management because it's kind of the one thing I understand, but you really have to just maintain that grind and keep putting out the content. Thankfully, I could not think of all this stuff when I'm trying so much to think of the books that I'm trying to write and the next book I'm trying to write. But thankfully, I've got a marketing guy that just says, hey, here's a good idea, film this and send it to me and I'll put it together. So he works his magic and I can just keep on typing my book.
Perfect.
Worked for me.
Awesome. So some of the topics that I wanted to go over today was how you've balanced multiple crafts just throughout your career and how you continue to do that. Staying grounded basically throughout it all because, you know, career, life stuff throws at you. And then basically what your version of creative discipline is.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, I have to create, number one. My voiceover career, I think, is sunsetting right now.
Okay.
Voiceover is the whole industry, just as a whole, is continually under threat by the usual suspects of lowballing clients, underbidding colleagues, the economy. But then you have the SAG after a strike, and then kind of one of the final nails in the coffin was the advent and the foray into the marketplace of AI in 2023, which just continues to erode our income and take away long-standing clients I've had forever. So I miss it. But I kind of reached an epiphany one day where I was like, God, I must create. What should I do? And I've always written stories or told stories. So returning to authoring was a real easy, natural fit for me. And I have to create. My schedule, I think that was part of your question, is the discipline of creating. I like what Stephen King said. I think at one point he said, I want to write 5,000 words a day. Okay. My goal is about 5 chapters. 5 chapters. Good Lord. 5 pages a day in my book. And so that can vary, because if you're using font 260, then it's going to be 1 letter per page. Hey, 5 pages done. Check. But it's about 5 pages per day. And that's my discipline. Do I always hit that? No. But do I sometimes exceed it? Yes. There have been days where I just write 27 pages because I'm so in that zone and in that moment in that chapter. So, but it is a discipline. I work 9 to 5 voiceovers and authoring, come out here, do what I need to do, continue to serve this mission, this vision and mission, and go back to the family and the wife and kids at 5 every day.
Awesome. So I know you're from Seattle. We're actually like on the complete opposite ends of the country. It's crazy. Have you lived in Seattle your whole life?
Yeah, in or around Seattle. I grew up in Riverbend.
Okay.
If you've ever heard of Mount Si by Seattle, or Snoqualmie Falls, that's around where I grew up.
Okay.
And then as life took us more west, into Bellevue and then Seattle and then south, that's kind of where I've lived, is in the shadow of Mount Si my whole life.
Okay.
The shadow of Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens and all those.
Gotcha. So I have a little section. Well, I actually have this broken down into a few different sections, but I wanted to dive into some of your early creative roots. So basically, my first question is, when did you realize that storytelling was something that you wanted to do? Not necessarily something you had to do, but just something you wanted to do.
Man, there's 2 things that I can track or that I can attach that to. One, Mrs. Walker in 2nd grade issued all of us an assignment, and it was just, mine was not unique in any way, shape, or form. I'm being judicious when I say that. It was kind of a copyright infringement, blatant ripoff of Alan Dean Foster's novelization of E.T. But I called it, because that's what I was reading at the time, but I called it The Electric Boy. And it was this kid who sticks his finger in a power socket and strangely gets imbued with powers he doesn't know what to do with, and goes kind of on a journey of discovery. Well, it was construction paper, front and back, and 3-hole punch, college rule paper to write on, crude stick figure drawings, and again, the copyright infringement aspect. But I held it in my hands when I was done, and I was like, it just was an epiphany moment where I held it in my hands and I went, oh my gosh, I made this, and it's legacy right then and there. So that supercharged me. But I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan. You can see the ring on the necklace. This is not the actual ring. I just want to clarify. See, it's still here. Still here. But I read The Lord of the Rings when I was probably 9 or 10, and have read it. Just blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. And I had one of those moments of like, well, if he can do it, why not me? I mean, I'm nowhere near the prowess, and I never will be, of the creative prowess of J.R.R. Tolkien. But that was a lightning rod moment of my life of creativity. Reading The Lord of the Rings just blew my mind wide open.
Do you have a favorite one?
What's that?
Do you have a favorite one by chance, or do you just like all of them?
I love all of them, but I mean, out of the movies, I really love The Return of the King.
Okay.
But out of the books, I really love the middle chapter, which is often the hardest one to write, and that is The Two Towers. It's just something special about the diverging of the Fellowship and following all these different paths that they all go on. He was a master genius.
No, that's very true. And what's interesting? I've actually I've never read any of the books, but I did the movies, and I hear different opinions about how accurate, the movies are from the books and stuff like that. So with you being an author, like, I'd love to have your opinion on it. Well, I mean,
I could run into the very same thing because the first volume of the Dissonance saga, which is the first one I wrote, which is right here, that's volume 1 reality. That's been adapted for the screen and it's being pitched to streaming networks.
Yeah, that's
right
awesome.
Now. So
congrats, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I would, that's every indie author's dream, is to see it on screen, but I would really want them to stick close to the book because I wrote the book that way for a very specific reason. I'm sure that Tolkien, if were he alive during the filming and production and editing of Lord of the Rings, would have several things to say. They particularly movie 2, which is my favorite book, The Two Towers, takes exceptional creative license with the story, particularly with Faramir and them going to Helm's Deep, and just like there's so many changes that really bug me with that movie. The source material is holy, it's sacrosanct, you want to preserve it, and it was written that way for a very, very specific reason. So I like the movies, but I like the books even better.
Gotcha. So forgive me if I haven't, if you didn't say this or anything, but so I know when you said that you were younger, you created. Was there did you go to school for any of this, or has this just been something where now it's just a long independent, and then you just kind of you figure out how to market like yourself and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm naturally trained at a lot of the things. I mean, I did well in school, not exceptional in school, but my head was often in, yeah, you understand. Our heads are in the clouds, and we got to keep our feet on the ground. I was really a right brain creative. And so to sit in a class and learn geometry just does not float my boat. When am I ever going to use this is my question. So yeah, you learn those types of things of academia, but there's no classes that say, writing 101 or novelist 101 or things like that. Those are extracurricular that you take either at like a community college or a YMCA or some kind of community level program that you can enroll in, a summer camp type of thing. And I've done those. I've done drama camps and stuff, but it's a natural gift that I've just chosen to refine and pursue more and more and more over the years. And I think those are a stronger draw for a person like me. They're a stronger draw than, hey, here's a class on writing. No, I'm gonna sit myself and just perfect my craft on my own rather than sit down for curriculum. I'll choose, this over that every day.
Yeah, I was the exact same way, and basically until I got to film school, because that's just obviously much more focused on what you want to do and stuff like that. So I want to shift. Since you're someone that does obviously balance so much creative things, and you have to keep yourself motivated, right? You have to keep yourself driven, stuff like that. I want to know, basically, what systems or routines keep you productive across all of these things?
Well, the discipline of the work day, you have to have an on and off switch.
Yes.
Granted, as a creator, I'm going to get ideas all the time while I'm sleeping. You wake up from a dream. I got to record that down, or driving and you're drifting into the other lane thinking about your novel. You're like, oh crap. Back. Yeah, it's a discipline that you have to attain that is, fortunately for me, has been baked into me at an early age, is that discipline of creation. Some people have to put it on their calendar. There are times where I'm stuck in writer's block, or I'm not super sold on the book that I'm currently writing. And so I have to diligently put it on my calendar, write, for a multi-hour block, so that reminder will pop up and I'll go, okay, put things aside and then, get into it. So the day-to-day grind and the day-to-day work schedule is one thing, and then putting it on the calendar is another. But one of the things that's a huge motivator for me is coming into the shop where I work. I walk right past the bookshelves that contain all of my books published to date, and there's several copies of each. And it's nice to see that. It's a track record. It's a motivator.
Yeah, I was going to say, that seems like a great motivative outlet for you, if anything. It just happens to be like your workspace, you know? That's awesome. Yeah. The reason why I asked is because for myself, so first off, you're the first guest on my podcast. So one, that's awesome. And two, thank you.
Thank you.
But the reason I asked that is because for someone, like, I don't know, I just feel like for creators, obviously you have to bank on the customer, the people liking what you do, right? So the reason I asked that is because for me, just like, I'm not like just starting out this year. I've been doing this for a while. But my question is because how do you end up still staying disciplined? And maybe this was at a young age for you, but how did you continue to have all of these disciplines or develop the disciplines when, let's say, stuff wasn't working for you or the ball wasn't really rolling? Because I found myself stuck in that type of situation, trying to figure out basically like how to continue to just stay motivated, because sometimes I feel like someone buying something shouldn't necessarily matter. It should just be how you feel. So I just wanted to get your intake.
Yeah, well, there's a great quote that I was given by a voiceover. I'm a voiceover artist as well. And so there was a voiceover agent. She was a former agent who then became an entrepreneur and formed her own site where you could go in, sign up for a membership and get casting notices that way. And her name is Liz Atherton. And Liz gave me a quote one time that really rocked my world. She said, "Someone's endorsement of you, or lack thereof, has very little to do with your trajectory." At the time, it was pertinent to my career as a voiceover artist, but I find that it's pertinent to any entrepreneurial pursuit, particularly the creative ones. As an author, I desperately want people to buy this right here. This is my, it's upside down. This is my 6-book saga, Dissonance. Okay, there's 6 books in here. I designed this whole thing. It's gorgeous. It's got 1,800 pages of SyFy that are all written by me without the help of AI. Awesome. Very proud of that. And it's a story loaded with thematic depth and heart, and I want people to buy it. When they don't, or when someone isn't sold on the story, or they read a first few pages and they decide it's not for them, and they miss all of the good parts that happened after that, and they throw the baby out with the bathwater and leave a negative review or whatever, which is rare because I write good stories. I'm grateful for that. But when it happens, you have to just let that wash off you like water off a duck's back, and realize that, again, someone's endorsement of you, or lack thereof, has very little to do with your trajectory. My trajectory is a creator. My trajectory is an author. My trajectory is a voiceover artist. Those are all forward, regardless of what happens around me, to me, with me, whatever. So it's more of an internal motivation to just continue to keep going despite what else is happening all around you. I love those movies where, there's a gigantic explosion and you see someone walking away from the flames and they're untouched, and they're like wiping some dust off their shirt. And that's kind of what you have to be, is like everything's blowing up around you. Yeah, very true. Do you have enough structural integrity and fortitude to outlast the explosion and keep moving forward? So I love Rocky's quote on that too, in the Rocky Balboa movie. It's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
No, absolutely. That was a great example. Thank you for that. Has there been a time, like with your family, that they have seen you kind of just like going through it, like trying to figure out, like, I've got this idea and I'm just trying to make it work at all? And like, did that ever happen or go on?
I think they see it on a daily basis, because I'm constantly surrendering this to the Lord in prayer and just asking for blessing over this pursuit, this whole authoring dream, and praying that the books will sell, that my screenplays will be picked up by major studios, that I'll get an agent. They're very well aware of this grind and this hustle that I'm in. That's good. I haven't had and they pray for it as well. I haven't had a huge setback other than, the negative or less than stellar review that might come in here and there. You can't please everyone, nor should you try. Right. Or whatever, you thought this studio was going to pick up your screenplay and they haven't yet. I suck with patience. Same. I suck. Yeah, I'm a very impatient person by nature, so they see that, and they are just they're kind of swimming this river with me, and we're all just hoping for the best.
I got you. Okay. So, not trying to get too personal, but where did you and your wife meet?
Oh, so personal. I'm livid. How could you ask that question? So we met at our church, our former church in Bothell. It's no longer active. They actually closed their doors in 2019, I believe. She had gone there for like 10 plus years.
Okay. Wow.
And a pastor who used to be there invited me to go, and so we met in the singles group. And I basically fled from her for 6 months while she gently, graciously pursued me. I called it smothering. She called it just interest. And guys do that a lot anyway, I think. But it was. We got married there. I proposed to her on stage there. We got married on stage there. We dedicated our firstborn child there on stage.
Wow.
So it was sad to see that church come to a close, but
especially when
elsewhere.
Yeah, especially when you have like some rich history like that. Like, yeah, is the building itself still like there? It's just not active. Yeah. Oh, okay. Damn.
It may be another church now. I'm not sure. It's perfect for a church. Mm-hmm. I don't like our church. It just started costing way too much to rent that building, and through natural attrition and around COVID timeframe, people started peeling off, and so it just got smaller and smaller and couldn't pay the bills, so had to fold up the tents and say hasta la vista, baby.
I got you. So is she a creative like you, or an author in any type, or is she just the complete opposite and does something?
No, she's a poet, and I'm an author, and she is an editor.
Oh, okay.
It's a perfect combination. She's actually very much a wordsmith, and she has taken a lot of my books and, rephrased things in ways that it wouldn't naturally occur to me to say.
Yeah.
So she has sculpted what I've offered and re-sculpted it and turned it into something, more majestic, more eloquent. She's a very good editor, content editing, proofreading, everything. So yeah, and she edits other people's works right now as well. But she is a creator in the sense that she's a very creative mommy with our boys, in ways to get them to think outside the box and grow and learn. And she's a creator in terms of being a poet. I got the best. She's wonderful.
Awesome. That's awesome. Are your boys older or younger? Just out of curiosity.
Older than me?
Well, just like, no, yeah, right? You got me.
No, they're 10 and 6. So our 9-year-old just turned 10 on the 12th.
Okay.
And our 6-year-old will turn 7 in June. So they're little guys. We started late in life.
Gotcha. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Do you sense or see any of what's in you or your wife in them with it all?
Absolutely. My 10-year-old is incredibly creative.
Yeah.
He is incredibly right brain, and it's so funny because I find myself to be a decent balance of right brain creative and left brain intellect. Okay. But far more emphasis on the right. Brennan, my oldest, my 10-year-old, is an exact doppelganger of me at 10. And it's absolutely crazy just to see the things that he can create out of paper and tape, the 3D crafts that he can invent, how his mind works imaginatively. He is insanely talented.
That's awesome.
My 6-year-old is talented as well in crafts and whatnot, but he dwells more on intellectual type of things, and he's exceptionally academically smart, insightful, really insightful. So they're geared and wired in different ways, but the answer to your question is a profound yes, especially with Brennan.
Gotcha. Sounds like you have an extremely creative household. That's awesome.
We do. Yeah.
That is awesome. So I kind of wanted to break down your background, as in like literally the graphic behind you. Obviously, those are all of yours. So let's just start off with the Dissonance. Do you have a favorite? Or because obviously all of these you take pride in, all of that stuff, but is there any particular ones, and again I want to start with the Dissonance, that specifically stand out to you?
Out of the Dissonance saga itself?
First, yes.
Yeah, so Dissonance is my quintessential work. It's 6 books, and it was intended only to be one.
Okay.
It grew into a trilogy, and then it demanded 2 prequels and a sequel, because the story just kept wanting to be told.
Yeah.
So, but people ask me this, and they're kind of astonished to learn the answer. This is a book I did not intend to write, which is Dissonance Volume Uprising, which is the second prequel.
Okay.
And it is my favorite. I love backstory. One of my 2 favorite chapters in The Lord of the Rings are The Shadow of the Past and The Council of Elrond.
Okay.
Where they dive deep back into prehistory and you find out what led up to today. I'm in love with chapters like that because I love the prehistory. Well, Dissonance Volume Uprising deals exactly with the prehistory that leads up to Volume 1, Reality, Volume 2, Reckoning, Volume 3, Renegade. And so I'm most proud of Volume Uprising for the complexity that it represents, and the fact that it's a second prequel. I had so much backstory that I needed a second prequel for this saga.
Yeah, I know that's crazy, but that's also awesome at the same time. You just keep going to get at the same thing, basically. That's awesome. So moving on, is there so the Talisman? I'm curious because that looks like you got some interesting. I don't know what you would call them, honestly. To me, they look like emblems. I'm sure that's not even the right word, but yeah, it looks cool. Where did that whole idea come from?
Well, those are the talismans. Those symbols are a talisman is a symbol, and so, but it also could mean a person carrying a symbol. The talisman, for example. Well, I'm very odd duck, and I reverse engineer my stories. I think of a cover first, and if the cover is cool enough and compelling enough, I go, oh my gosh, I've got to write a story about that.
Okay.
For example, I'm playing this one pretty close to my chest, but I've got an idea for a story called The Darkness Within.
Okay.
And it is going to be another, spiritual, spiritual battle story, much like The End was. And that one, I've got a great looking, like, oh my gosh, cover that I will reverse engineer and work back towards and have it as a goal in sight. So Talisman, though, is I got the covers and then I wasn't quite sure what story I wanted to write, who was the main protagonist, but I finally locked onto one particular character in the Dissonance saga. And when I locked onto that character and decided that they were going to be the protagonist in the Talisman series here, and it's this guy right here.
Okay.
I just lit up because I was having trouble imagining the story and envisioning where to go. And once I locked onto that character, it was like, oh my gosh. And the story, flew off my fingers. So Talisman is a great story, and it is in fact a veritable spin-off of the Dissonance saga. There's a character named Pastor Rosie Campion who is in the Dissonance saga. She's mentioned in The End. She is in Forecast and The Slide and Phoenix Experiment and the Talisman saga.
Interesting.
So she has jumped between stories and sagas, and I like that it makes one big great Aaron verse.
Yeah.
That's all tied together.
Yeah, no, that is really, really cool. Did you find, since it's yours, did you find that to be complicated at all, or at certain times maybe, or was it just all smooth?
Oh my gosh, no, not smooth at all. The Phoenix Experiment, I was like, well, I've got to have Rosie in here somehow, but the Phoenix Experiment takes place 400 years in the future after Dissonance, in which she dies. Spoiler, but I mean, you find that out in volume 4, Relentless, which is this one right up here, that one. So she dies in that one, but then she appears again 400 years later in the Phoenix Experiment. But I came up with something just ingenious, if I do say so myself, and it turned out to be a master stroke of fortune that I was able to bring her back, because now she's tying into Talisman as well. And it's so cool. I love the ties that bind the whole Aaron verse together.
So if you weren't in the sci-fi genre, what other genre do you think you would be?
Probably, well, I write nonfiction. It comes right out of me, particularly the one right over my shoulder here, You Are My Whole Earth, is for my boys.
Oh, okay.
They're easy to write. I have not written fantasy yet, but the one that is right here, the Daggerfells, I'm primarily initially inspired actually by Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings.
Right.
So as a tip of the hat, I really want to write a fantasy novel, because fantasy is very closely linked to sci-fi. And so you might say that some of these sci-fi installments here are in fact fantasy. You know, the Phoenix Experiment is a dark fantasy, for example, but it is more sci-fi than fantasy. So maybe I'd say fantasy. Long answer.
I got you. So I got a couple rapid fire questions for you. So
yeah,
are you a morning or a night creator? Just out of curiosity.
Night creator.
Night creator. Okay. Do you? Well, you've already told me that. What is your one non-negotiable daily habit, if you have one?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah, I must have coffee to create.
What happens when you don't have it?
I don't create. I don't create as well. It's one of the things I just so look forward to, sitting down at the desk. It's the drink of the gods.
Okay, nice. How do you prefer your coffee?
Very sweet.
Yeah,
I'm a sweet tooth, so you're gonna laugh. Everyone laughs, but marshmallows, stevia, creamer. So like hazelnut creamer, and it's butter toffee coffee.
Oh God!
So it's already a sweet coffee, but it's like and especially in the holiday season, add some eggnog in there as well. You're good to go.
That sounds delicious, honestly.
Yep. And heart attack worthy, but delicious.
One piece of advice for multi-passionate creators.
Well, I would give them that mantra earlier of someone's endorsement of you or lack thereof has very little to do with your trajectory. But I also want to give them the mantra that I adopted from Star Wars 1, The Phantom Menace, a movie I like to pretend doesn't exist. Qui-Gon Jinn said to a young Anakin Skywalker, "Your focus determines your reality."
Ooh.
So come up with a mantra like that. My focus has determined my reality many times in my life. And I want my focus of being a full-time writer to determine my reality of being a full-time writer, which I am full-time right now, but I want it to be the only thing that supports our lifestyle. So come up with a mantra that helps drive you forward.
Okay. And then the last one I have is what either a dream collaboration or a person that's the dream collaboration. So I guess that's kind of the same thing. But yeah, dream collaboration. Oh, did you hear me?
Well, if Dissonance does in fact go to screen, if someone picks up the screenplay or options it and someone wants to produce it, man, I would love to collaborate with James Cameron.
Okay.
I could totally I'd absolutely love to collaborate with him. I mean, Aliens is my favorite movie of all time. I'm sure it is yours. And so I love everything that he's directed and created. That would be awesome. And Sigourney Weaver as an actress somehow in there. But more to the point, Jeanette Goldstein, who played Vasquez in Aliens, she's got to be in there because she is the bomb.
Alrighty. Well, not gonna lie, that is everything I have for this episode. To be completely honest with you, I know it was a little bit short for a podcast, only 34 minutes. I mean, it's a little bit shorter on the shorter end. But is there anything, like any questions or anything for me that you might have? I mean, I don't know if you do, but.
Yeah, that's the on the spot question of the day. I would say, do you have a mantra? Because mantras are so life-giving. Mission statements are so life-giving. And do you have something that compels you to move forward? Whether that's a question for you or anybody who's going to be listening to this or watching this. Do you have a mantra that compels you to keep moving forward in whatever you're doing? And it's so important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So great question. I have multiple I definitely have multiple. For me, if I don't like accomplish at least one thing like a day, or if meaning more so like what I'm trying to do with fitness and like this podcast from the creative direction side, if I don't get something done, it's not very good. But I would just say, oh man, I've never really been asked that question. I usually am the one that asking that, so that's fine.
See? Yeah.
Oh,
don't like being put on the spot, do you?
I know, right? It's like, oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna have to come back to that. But I just wanted to end this on what you're currently working on and where people can find your work.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. So it's my favorite question, by the way. They can go to authoraaronryan.com. I want to clarify, just for clarity's sake, it is not awfulaaronryan.com. It is authoraaronryan.com. And all the links for all the things are there. All the extraneous sites that I have for Dissonance and The End and the Talisman series, and all the socials are there as well. So authoraaronryan.com. They can go to authoraaronryangroup.com, which is a private and exclusive Facebook group of mine, where you will find discounts, giveaway codes, news on the screenplays, upcoming appearances, things like that. And then social media, you can find, just search for Author Aaron Ryan on all the socials and you'll find them there as well. And I'm currently working on the finale to the Talisman series, which is down here in the bottom, your bottom right, which is Talisman Halcyon, which is the finale to the series.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, I just want to thank you again for taking your time out of your day to come on here and chat it up with me. I would definitely love to get you on another episode where we can talk about either more of the same stuff or something else. It doesn't really matter. I'm a creative just like you, so even if you wanted to collaborate with something, we could totally do that. But I also just wanted to let you know, from promoting this specific episode, I basically just break the giant thing down into a bunch of clips and I promote it across my social media. Basically, I will obviously send you the link so that way you can do whatever. But basically what I'm getting at is I definitely want to keep in touch for sure.
Yeah, no, totally. I appreciate it. And I will post those and tag you where and if I can. And so those are always nice, but I really appreciate the opportunity. Any chance I get to go out there and tell people about authoring or the books in progress is a great, much appreciated opportunity. So thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Absolutely. I genuinely enjoyed every moment of this. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Have a great rest of your day, bud. Thank you.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.